as I continue my look at various liquid type mediums here in my studio, today we've got the Faber Castell Whipped Spackle. Now, right off the bat, what I have to tell you about Whipped Spackle, it's 3 ounces, so it's actually on the smaller side as far as paste type mediums go, which can be a very good thing. If you don't do a ton with paste and that kind of medium, you may want to look at something like this, because the great big jars that come, this is not paste, but you know, that come like much bigger size, sometimes those can dry out or get too old or whatever, and if you don't use them fast enough, become bad. So you may enjoy a smaller container. It also, of course, would store much nicer. The thing I have noticed is at the very top, I have a few little dry spots, but overall, this product is been here at least open, you know, being used at least 6 months. It hasn't dried out on me. I have had brands that dry out fast once you open them, and that's no good at all. Okay, so that's really good. What is it? What is Whipped Spackle versus anything else? This is going to be whenever you might want whenever something calls for a molding or modeling paste, that's what this is. The Whipped Spackle is a very fancy name, but that's what this is. How is it different? Now they call it, the description here, they're calling it a heavy textured gesso with consistency of icing, used to create dimensional texture applications with the added weight, prime surfaces for watercolor or paint, mixed with gelatos, etc., etc. Dries, opaque, matte, medium weight. That's what they say. Here's what I'm going to tell you, because I've been using it for quite a while. This is actually my second jar of it. It's extremely lightweight as far as a paste type product goes. It's very lightweight, which makes it amazing if you're a card maker. This would be a great choice. It holds, this is dried already. It dries pretty quickly. It lets me dry it with a heat tool, which not all products would do. It's really lightweight, but it'll let you add texture. And why do you want texture? It's great if you're into stencils, you need to have paste. If you're into stencils, you absolutely, it's not negotiable. You need to get yourself some paste. What I like to do most of the time, I used to use mists with stencils and it was so unpredictable. Now I like to use paste. It goes on smooth. The texture of it, it's fairly smooth. It's not gritty. It's not a product that causes a lot. It is textured, but it can also be very smooth, is what I'm trying to say here, is that if you want it to be very smooth, it can be. And it's very easy. You know, I try to keep it off the sides and keep it all pushed down. One thing I have found that if I'm having trouble with a medium that dries out quick is I can put a little piece of plastic in there and squish it down when I'm done, if I'm not going to use it for a while, to kind of help preserve so that moisture doesn't escape, especially in summertime here. So I can lift my stencil off, and here's what I'm going to get. It's going to be absolutely pristine as far as this is a drop. As far as liquid mediums goes, when we get into the pastes, it's a more dry medium, so you can get really sharp stenciling, really detailed stenciling. And the only texture I'm getting here is where my palette knife already had some texture on it and kind of made a few little sketchy marks. Or if I wanted texture, I could tap it. I could do various things to force texture, extra texture on there. Now from here, what can I do? I can do anything I want. I can get out, remember we've been using this peeled paint stain. It will take dry or wet. When we were talking with gessos, it mattered if it was wet or dry, how much they absorbed the mediums. Not so with the Whipped Spackle. It will absolutely soak up color, whether it is dry, like it is over here, or if it is wet. In fact, it's a little more absorbent when it's wet, which is the opposite of what we had been seeing in previous videos. But, you know, if I hit this with the heat tool, I could also, since it kind of splattered, you know, it's a mist. This is a mist, so that kind of splatter there. If I add some water to it, it will dry and it will soak up color nicely. Oh, I just love all of the texture that I can get without adding a ton of weight to my paper. Another reason this can be really good, especially for scrapbookers, card makers, is that this is such a dry product, even though it is technically has a little bit of moisture there. It's not wet like paint, so it's not warping my paper. As much as I used on here, it's not marking. This is just thin, regular cardstock, not warping it, not marking it, not causing any problems of any kind. I can go right into playing. It does work well with watercolor, gelato, acrylic paint, stain. I could mix some of this with a liquid color and create my own custom colors of paste, or honestly, so that I don't waste any, I like to just apply the paste plain and then squirt or apply with a paintbrush or something else the color on top. But you absolutely can mix your own colors with this. It's a wonderful product, Whipped Spackle. A lot of reasons you might want to have this in your stash. As I said before, it's a small amount, so it's easy to store. It lasts a pretty good amount of time. I can do quite a few projects with one bottle of it, and as you can see, you can add some dimension to your projects with stenciling, direct application, however you might like, and it's a whole lot of fun.